motorcycle biology, because it's about the parts, it's about the, the nits and grits, the bolts, the nut bolts, the sadi guards, probably the fenders, the mud guards, everything that makes a bike a bike. Well, Project Himalayan 450 is by Mr. Abhinav Bhatt, who has a very, very big name in the adventure industry. Someone whose thought transformed a machine into a lightweight, capable off-road maniac that's right here. Join us to decode this journey as Mr. Bhatt walks us through how he has built this amazing, amazing machine. A very warm welcome. Please give us a huge round of applause. Mr. Abhinav Bhatt for you.
Thank you for that lovely intro, Tanisha.
Most welcome. How are you doing? And
very well, very well. I'm very nervous, guys. First and foremost, a very warm welcome and thank you for turning out to take a look at my motorcycle and hear me talk about this motorcycle. I'm not a custom bike builder. I'm the average Joe. I'm like every single guy out there. We have a daily job. We go to work Monday to Friday, and on Saturday, Sunday, we keep looking forward to that Saturday, Sunday to ride our motorcycles. And that's what I do. So I'm you. And now I'm going to talk about a little bit about my motorcycle. This motorcycle has been on display here for the last 2 days. Did anybody take a look? Has anybody seen the bike here? Okay, so
yeah, the stage is yours.
All right, thanks. So when I got the motorcycle, so I was one of the very first people to get access to this motorcycle after its launch in Manali. Team Royal Enfield sent me the bike and they said, you want to ride it? Sure. The first thing that I did was I took this motorcycle to my local trails in Gurgaon, and my God, it's such a step up from the 411. I was absolutely in love with this bike. Now, I'm a journalist and I don't get a lot of time to go touring on a motorcycle. So what I do is the next best thing. I go to trails on Sunday. I mostly only ride on trails. When I saw the Himalayan, I saw that there were a lot of parts on this motorcycle that were touring focused. I did not need them when I'm on the trails. So I thought, what if I start removing some things? Will it be lighter? So I asked Royal Enfield, hey, listen, would you guys be okay if I start modifying the motorcycle a little? And they said, yeah, go ahead, please do it. And today, the bike that I have in front of you, I've been working on it for a year and a half. Lots of changes, then some things don't work, then you change it again. The final result has been that this motorcycle today is about 20-21 kilos lighter than a stock motorcycle, and it makes 6 extra horsepower. So I think it rides very well. Maybe, I ride it on the trails all the time. Maybe next year we'll do a rally race on this motorcycle. The build will continue. We'll make more changes to it. But let me just take you through some of the things that I did on this motorcycle. If you guys are into trail riding, maybe you can adopt some of those changes, as I have documented on YouTube and Instagram over the last year and a half, 2 years. So when I saw the motorcycle, I realized, okay, it has a sadi guard. Realistically, who has a pillion who rides, with a sadi on a motorcycle anymore? Especially a Himalayan, nobody. So the first thing to go off the motorcycle was the sadi guard. I just threw it out. Now the bike came with a rack. Now, if I'm riding on the trails, I don't need the rack. So the sadi guard saved 1.5 kilos. The rack saved 2 kilos. The bike has a center stand on it right now because, we had to display it. But when you're riding on the trails, you don't need that center stand. You can very well do with a side stand. The center stand, I removed it, another 2 kilos. Then the cage at the front, which is a design element that was carried forward from the 411. I removed that. That's another 3.5 kilos. And slowly, I started chipping away weight. Now, when I did that, a lot of people thought that I'm crazy. I'm just removing stuff from the motorcycle for YouTube views. But, in one day, I made it 11 kilos lighter. And I told those guys, hang on, there's a certain vision. We're doing something for a purpose. Now, when you ride a motorcycle on a trail, who here rides motorcycles? Who has taken their Himalayan off-road over here? Okay, lots and lots of people. Do you need more power on the Himalayan off-road? Do you think it can be a little lighter off-road? So exactly, that is exactly what I did. So we took a little bit of weight off. Now, the motorcycle, Then after taking a little bit of weight off, now that costs absolutely zero money to take weight off, because all I was doing was unbolting things. And one thing I was very careful about while doing this build was I did not want to throw a lot of money on this motorcycle. The Himalayan at the end of the day is still not a very expensive motorcycle. This is not a Triumph Tiger. You don't need to spend 4, 5, 6 lakh rupees on this bike. Just go buy a bigger bike if you have that kind of money. Make minimal changes to the motorcycle and just go have fun. That was the whole idea. Now, if I'm riding trails, you gotta have some knobby tires, right? So we put some Rice Torque R O1 tires. That's something at the front. At the rear, Rice was, I made some calls very recently, and Rice gave me a Dakar spec tire. Now the tire that I have on the motorcycle, this tire, there are only 2 people in the country right now who I know are running this tire. One is CS Santosh. Who here knows who CS Santosh is? Everybody, right? So CS Santosh is preparing for the Dakar race, and CS Santosh uses the same Rice tire, this very same tire, on his motorcycle, the Rally Himalayan that Royal Enfield officially is preparing for the Dakar race. The other person to race this tire is Ashish Rao Rane, another independent racer, and thankfully I'm the 3rd person here, as far as I know, who has access to this tire. So as the build progressed, more and more people got to know about it. They started attaching with me with the project, because again, I'm a common guy. I cannot do the things that specialists can do, then motorcycle customizers can do. All I can do is, I have a lot of good friends in the industry. All I can do is call up those friends. People like Milan Khurana from MK Designs. So Milan and his wife, they are here. Do you like the livery on the bike? Do you like this color scheme that we have going on the bike? That's all Milan. Milan, please stand up and just wave around once. So Milan, I and a good friend of ours, Luisa from Romania, she's a designer from Romania. We sat down and we worked on some 25, 30 renders over 3 months to finalize this paint scheme for this motorcycle. Once the hard part of selecting, the paint scheme was done, Milan took 2 days. Like, he stopped all his work. And we built this bike last year. Milan had, he had projects for the Auto Expo. He stopped his work for Auto Expo to paint my motorcycle. So hats off, Milan. I'm really grateful for that. Then let me show you something that really makes this motorcycle stand apart. Do you see this exhaust on this motorcycle? This is a very rally style exhaust. The Himalayan, it has an exhaust which ends somewhere over here. Now that's mass centralization and everything, but if a motorcycle has rally in its name, it better look like a rally machine. So I had a certain idea. I had seen the Arrow exhaust that Royal Enfield has for this motorcycle, but they don't sell it here in India because it's going to cost them 70,000 rupees and nobody will buy it. So I reached out to this gentleman who's holding the camera over here, Talha from MNTB Racing, and I told him, Talha bhai, ek exhaust banana hai, mere paas ek sketch hai, I have a certain idea in my mind, can you do it? Talha said no problem, and he started working on it. He worked on it, and he worked on it so well that he came up with this exhaust. Now this exhaust is tuned, this motorcycle is tuned. So with this exhaust and a Powertronic that we have on the bike, and we also have a Fuel X Pro Plus, we have an aftermarket air filter on the motorcycle. The airbox has also been modified and the bike has been tuned. This bike right now makes 46 horsepower. That's 6 extra horsepower over a standard Himalayan. The low end torque has improved. The bike is running a bigger sprocket at the rear. Now, there are Chennai-based sprocket, specialists called Race. Now, those guys, they helped me out. They made an aluminium sprocket for this. I thought I will lose a lot of weight by using an aluminium sprocket. Turns out Royal Enfield has done such a great job. The stock sprocket only weighs 650 grams. The aluminium sprocket was some 350 grams. So I still say 300 grams. I'm like, arey chalo 300 grams, so bach gaya. So overall, we started stripping this bike down. The bike has a lithium phosphate battery. That's another 2 kilos that goes up. So that goes off the bike. So any weight that comes from here that you can take off from the top of the bike, your bike will feel nicer to ride because the center of gravity just moves low. So that's what we did. Now, not all modifications work, let me tell you that. Some of you might know, if you've seen me on YouTube, I had a massive crash on this motorcycle earlier this year in March. Now, do you see this front fender? Usually there's another plastic piece in the middle. Sorry about that. So on day one, I cut off the fender. I'm like, I want a rally bike look. Rally bikes don't have this middle plastic piece. Let's just cut it off. There was also a functional reason to do that. When you're running a knobby tire, all the mud starts getting stuck inside that fender, and the wheel will stop moving after a point of time. So, but mostly the reason was aesthetic, and I cut it off. And the stock brake line, it comes on the left fork, and it makes a U-shaped, loop, and it goes on the right fork. Back then, this is at least a year and a half ago, I said, I feel this is gonna do me some damage someday. And one day on the trail, I was just riding at 43 kilometers an hour. The brake line, because there was no fender, it got jammed in the front wheel. The front wheel just stopped, and I went over the bars. So I tore my right ACL, I broke my left wrist, I broke my left elbow, and I broke my left shoulder. I had to get 2 reconstructive surgeries earlier this year, early April. And I was pretty much off motorcycling for this year. I said, okay, no more biking this year, let's just heal up well. Then about 2 months ago, Royal Enfield called me. They said, hey, listen, Abhinav, do you want to display that motorcycle that you made? I said, yaar, I to crashed. The bike pretty much is totaled. Let me see what we can do. And then I reached out to all my friends again. I reached out to Tala bhai, exhaust is gone, I need a new exhaust. Milan bhai, we need to paint the motorcycle, please stop all your work, we need to do it again. Team Royal Enfield helped me a lot. So they ended up fixing the bike at the Chennai factory. They sent it over. We did the finishing touches. We got a tire, we've got a bigger sprocket. We changed the foot pegs. Oh, so, sorry to digress, but I also feel that, when a motorcycle is sold, it's sold for a range of people. It is sold for people in India. The same motorcycle is going to Europe, where people are just slightly bigger in size. They're about 6 feet, 6'2", weigh over 100 kilos. So a motorcycle, when it comes out from the factory, is like a compromise. It's a compromise for everybody. And that is where I feel customization comes in. You make subtle changes. Almost everybody, nobody rides a stock bike. Everybody makes some small tweaks to the motorcycle to make it fit better to your body. That's what I did. I changed the foot pegs. We have aftermarket, gear lever and brake lever on this motorcycle, which are adjustable for reach. They are foldable, and these were given to me by Auto Engineer for this build. It also takes, because again, the motorcycle is a very utilitarian motorcycle, and it's built to a certain budget. So they use a lot of steel parts on it. So, these alloy parts, aluminum parts, they just up the fancy quotient of the bike a little bit. So we did all of that, and at the end of the day, this is what we've come up with. When we were fixing the motorcycle this time around, I did put the front mudguard back. But me being me, I cut it again. But this time around, we rerouted the brake properly. So you learn from your crashes, you learn from your mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. Whenever you're customizing something, things will go wrong. One should know that. And I feel that, people like me who also put content like this on YouTube and Instagram, it's very important to be extremely transparent. Look, I tried something, I failed. And this is the result in front of you, so that others don't make the same mistake. And if something fails, you better give them a solution. So the solution is reroute your front brake if you're cutting the mudguard. First and foremost, don't cut the mudguard. If you do, please reroute your brakes. So yeah, that's about it. The bike is lighter, the bike makes more power, and I think the bike looks kick-ass. So if you'd ask me what I would do to the motorcycle next, so far I've been riding it on the trail. I want to do a rally on this motorcycle. It's a Himalayan. I think the Himalayan deserves to be in the Rally of Himalayas. So the aim is now to start preparing, to start practicing more and more over the weekends, as and when. So I'm not 100% fit right now, but I'm back on the bike, and that is what matters the most. I will start training and I will try and race this motorcycle in the Rally of Himalayas. And for that, we will make some more changes on the motorcycle. First and foremost, I'm going to redo the suspension of this motorcycle. It's a lovely suspension for adventure touring. It's a lovely suspension for trail riding. But when the speed really picks up, you need to have a little bit of control in the rebound and the compression of the motorcycle, and I would like to put some adjustable suspension on this bike. So that's something that we will do. We'll also try to take some more weight off. I might put a plastic tank on it. A lot of people, they run the Tubeless fuel tank, the plastic, the 23-liter fuel tank on it. I didn't do that because I wanted my Himalayan to look like a Himalayan. You know, like I did not want to also put in a lot of money on this bike, because as I said, this is a budget build. This is something that you guys can replicate at home if you want to. So I didn't want to put a 50,000 rupee tank. Also, that tank is very huge. So I didn't want that. That's perfect for touring. But on a rally bike, I don't think so. So yeah, this is the bike. I'm very proud to present this bike to you guys. I did not prepare anything today. I just came in. I was very nervous. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. It never happens. And I was just nervous the entire day. But now that I'm standing in front of you and talking about the bike, it's all from heart. It's all from my heart. I'm so happy. I'm so glad that I got this opportunity to do what I wanted to do. I just love motorcycles. We are all here because we love motorcycles. And to just, sort of build something, even though I didn't build it, I just took some parts off, bolted some parts on. But the end result is something that I had envisioned. I'm very, very, very happy, and I'm very thankful to all the people associated with this build. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I've told you guys everything that I wanted to about this motorcycle. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to, now ask you guys to participate and tell me if you want to know anything about the bike. I'd be happy to help.
So it seems that you have changed the rear tire, the rim as well, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And in fact, funny thing, I forgot to mention that. So on this motorcycle, we are running XL Takasago rims. Now these are rally-built rims. I went with narrower wheels and narrower tires at the front, narrower rim at the rear as well. Now the front is about 900 grams lighter than the stock setup, the wheel and tire combo. Now, believe it or not, the rear wheel and tire combo is 5 kilos lighter than the stock wheel and tire combo. Now, in Hindi, if I'd say this, बहुत पापड़ बेलने पड़े to get this wheel. I used to run this wheel on my X-Pulse 200, the rally setup that I had. Then I gave it to my friend, and he was running it on his X-Pulse, and then he planned to put it on his KLX. And then there are no wheels available. There are no XL wheels available in the country for this motorcycle to buy. You just cannot find these wheels. So I requested my friend. I said, "Yaar, Yudhvir, please, I need the rims. I need the rims for my bike. Just give me the rims." And he gave me the rims. We built these rims, and these rims are stronger because it's purpose built. It's a rally setup. Now imagine 6 kilos just gone off the wheels. So your rotational mass has come down. The bike accelerates faster. The bike brakes better because there's not a lot of weight that is, moving in a circular motion that the bike is trying to stop. So with the narrower wheel, it also flicks a lot better. Currently, this motorcycle is not in a street legal specification, but then again, any change you make to your motorcycle, technically it's not street legal anymore. But I don't care. To me, this motorcycle, it rides well, it serves my purpose, and yeah, I went up to an 18-inch because the true dirt bike size wheel is 21 at the front, 18 at the rear, and you also get a lot more tire options when you go to 21-18.
A follow-up question on that, perhaps. How's the rider triangle changed with respect to the change in the front and setup?
So the rider triangle has changed slightly, not a lot. The rear seat has gone up because now the rear wheel is taller. The rake has reduced at the front a little. So this motorcycle would be even more flickable on trails.
Thank you.
Yes, please. if you could take the mic.
Is it tubeless?
No, this is not tubeless because ideally you should not be running a tubeless setup when you go off-road. Now I'll give you multiple reasons for that. Let's say you run a tubeless setup and you get a puncture. You'll get that puncture repaired once. You go again, you'll get another puncture. How many times will you plug the same tubeless tire? 5 times maybe. Then you'll say, "Ye tire to kharab hai, I'm going to throw it away and buy a new 20,000 rupee tire." That's not going to happen. B, we ride very aggressive off-road in the trails where I am. In those situations, what happens is, if you bend a tubeless rim, the bead is going to come off. What will you do then? You cannot seat the bead back on the tire and inflate that tire if it's tubeless. If you are running off-road and hard off-road, where the chances of bending a rim even exists, I feel you should run tubes. So we run heavy-duty tubes in this, and we ride in very thorny areas. Usually I never get a puncture. I get a puncture maybe, once in 6 months or once in 8 months. And that is livable bit, because if you get a puncture, you can still ride your motorcycle out of the trail and get that puncture fixed. Even if the rim is bent, the tube inside is holding it. The tire doesn't come off. So yes, the tube is destroyed by the end of it, but that's still 500 rupees for a tube and a puncture fixture.
So one more thing, like there is one more liquid in the market. So I have also used in my Himalayan, and after that I feel the torque and the initial pickup is not as the same it was before. So do you recommend this kind of liquid lubes which people are putting sealants here for anti-puncture?
Remember this, everything that you do to your bike is a compromise. Now, for the sake of not getting a puncture, you are adding more weight inside the tire. So of course it will slow down. Like how I said, because my tires are lighter and my wheels are lighter, my motorcycle accelerates faster. But now that you have added more weight, so it's going to be a little slower. But it gives you that puncture proofing, it gives you that peace of mind. You're not a racer. I'm not a racer. So might as well have that puncture proofing and not worry about, the flat out acceleration. If you're looking for flat out acceleration on a Himalayan 450, then you're on a wrong bike in my opinion, because it's an easy touring bike. Just, go solo touring, tour the length and the breadth of the country on this motorcycle, or ride it with a pillion and just go. Like, it's so comfortable, it's so easy. I'm using this motorcycle for a purpose that it has not been built for. But for most people who are touring on this bike, yes, if you don't have a tubeless setup, put in that gel, it works. I've used it on my bikes earlier, it works, and yeah, why not?
Sir, thank you so much. In the end, please, we would like to hear the sound of the bike as well, in the end.
Sure. I'll have to figure out where the keys are. They're not with me, they're with Abhilasha over there. She's with Team Royal Enfield. Yes, please.
Yeah. Taking off from where you went, we're all not rally riders. We want to go the other way and go touring. What would you do to make the bike better for touring? Because you take up all the protections and you go touring and handle luggage. So if you were to build your bike the other direction, what would you do?
I think the motorcycle is pretty set for touring. Royal Enfield.
Already, yes.
Yes, Royal Enfield. So, ideally, this is a Royal Enfield platform and I shouldn't be naming other manufacturers. The one good thing that I like about Royal Enfield is, it's not just the motorcycle that they sell you. They sell you an ecosystem of accessories. Royal Enfield will sell you hard panniers and racks. Try finding that on the KTM 390 Adventure. It just does not exist. Royal Enfield will sell you 2 or 3 kinds of engine guards. If you really want to tour on this motorcycle and if you want to make changes, I think it's perfect for touring the way it is. You have the option of tubeless rims. The bike has enough power. Just put luggage on it. It doesn't matter if you prefer soft luggage, if you prefer hard luggage, if you prefer a top case. Everything is available. And the best part is, if something is available from factory, you don't have to think twice about it. It's all been tested. It's been tested properly. It's not an aftermarket part. It's an OEM part. Just put those on. But the one thing that I would recommend is put auxiliary lights on, because the Royal Enfield headlight is not that great.
It's pretty bad.
So if you want to go touring and if you ride, chances, ideally nobody should ride at night. Just don't ride at night. Nothing good can come of it. But on this bike, to be safer, put auxiliary lights on. And I wish in a future update, Royal Enfield puts cruise control on this bike, because this is such a great bike for the highway.
Yep.
Take it to 120, set your cruise control on. Perfect bike. Absolutely perfect bike. To also tell you, add to that perspective, I have a Tiger 1200 that I, have been riding for many years now, 2019 or so. It's been 2 years I've not ridden that bike. This bike does everything, and it does it better. In Indian condition, it runs cooler, it gives better gas mileage. I don't have to replace tires that often. Tires cost 45,000 rupees a set for that bike. They barely cost what, 18,000 rupees for this if I go for a CH set, maybe even less. It's perfect, man. Like, I toured Nepal. I did a solo ride in Nepal on this motorcycle. I had factory luggage on, okay, the hard panniers. I went all the way up to Muktinath, which is about 11,500 feet. I got a little bit adventurous. I started asking them, where are the trails? Somebody told me there's a trail over here. I took this motorcycle and I took it on that trail. Yes. I would have never done that on the Himalayan. This motorcycle will go where, on the Tiger. This motorcycle will go where bigger bikes, absolutely, you cannot dream of taking those big bikes there. I took this motorcycle in. 5 minutes in, I realized this is not a motorcycle trail, this is a walking trail. Because the path that I saw was a 45-degree incline. Then I dropped the bike and I fell in thorns. I somehow got up because now we are at 11,500 feet altitude. And there was not a single person in sight. I had to self-recover the motorcycle. Oxygen levels are low, your strength goes down in the mountains. I was able to pick this motorcycle up on my own, turn it around. I was gasping for air. It was -8 degrees. The sun was going down. I rode the bike out. Had I done it on a Tiger, I don't know. I may not have been here, or probably it would have gone, it definitely wouldn't have been as easy as it was on this bike, and it wasn't easy on this bike. Remember that, because you're still 200 plus kilos with the panniers in the mountains.
Hey, can you please share your experience about the FuelX Pro? How was that with you?
I think it's great. It richens the fueling low down. Because of the Euro 5 emission norms, the motorcycles have to run leaner. Have you noticed that all the new bikes, they run hot? That's simply because there is no fuel going in. So FuelX just solves that. When you have FuelX, the motorcycle, it's just basically the injectors are squirting in more fuel into your engine. It's running richer and it runs just fine. What you can also do is, you can also go up by a tooth or two on the rear sprocket so that you have slightly better initial acceleration. But yes, FuelX, I think I'd recommend it. I use it. So for sure, I recommend it.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir.
We can take the last one now. Thank you.
Hi Abhinav, and good to see you back on your feet.
Thank you so much.
And something related to that. So we all know how that accident happened. I see that you have rerouted the brake lines. Can you tell me a little more about it?
Sure. If somebody could help me just turn the motorcycle around and keep it straight, I would like to showcase what I've done to the bike. The guy who painted the motorcycle, Milan Khurana, everybody. If you just put it on center. Okay, so if you people could take a look. For anybody who has seen, you all know the stock Himalayan. The brake line, it comes from the left hand, or from the right hand side. Over here, there is a clamp. Then it goes in a U shape on the other side because the brake rotor and the caliper are on the left. Now this is a very standard way of doing the front brake. But when you cut it, the loop, it hangs in the air and it's very dangerous. I have crashed and I know that a few other people have also crashed. So I did a very simple thing. I went to YouTube and looked for solutions. So I saw that, there is a European company called Unit Garage and they had come up with a kit for it. So I took some inspiration from it, and what I did was, we brought the brake cable, not from the left, but there are 2 screws under the front fender. I just made 2 loops which would hold on to the brake line, and the brake line is routed from there. It comes over here, and then I made a little bracket over here which will hold the brake line on the left side fork protector. It goes in, a zip tie holds it, and then it is routed in the correct place. So now what happens is, when the front suspension compresses, when you brake hard, this thing flexes, but there is no chance that it can go inside the tire. And this portion is pretty much rigid because we have given it that with this bracket and the way we've tied it towards the rear. So from whatever little that I've ridden this motorcycle after this brake mod, because we just started working on it again 2 months ago, so this helps. But I would still not recommend you guys to remove the front fender. Like, why do you need to remove the front fender? Nobody here is a rally racer. If you are, please correct me, but nobody here is a rally racer. We are all bike enthusiasts. We go touring on a motorcycle. We go have parathas on Sunday on a motorcycle. So we don't need to, but if you cut your fender, I would highly suggest you make a mod and you fix the brake line. No, it's not the same cable. It's a different cable. So you'll need about a 72 to 75 inch cable to do that.
But is it ready-made part?
Sorry?
Is it ready-made part available or a custom one?
No. So I had to get it custom made. A lot of things on the bike are custom made. You know, like everything would seem like, it looks like a regular Himalayan with a different paint job, but it doesn't work like that. You have to make a lot of changes just for this brake line. I'm from Delhi, okay, and there is a very popular motorcycle market over there called Karol Bagh. I would never go to Karol Bagh. But the guy who worked on this brake line, he had to make 3 trips on 3 days to Karol Bagh just to get the right size brake line. And then we fit it. So there's a lot of effort that goes in. Lots and lots of effort, lots and lots of sacrifice. Like, I don't know how many times I told Tala, yaar, Tala, redesign this, redesign that. How many times, like his whole workshop was flooded. Yet he kept working on this bike in the rains, his setup was gone. But he did it. Milan stopped his work and he did it. There's just a lot of hard work and passion that has gone into it. They didn't charge me a penny. They did not charge me a single rupee to do it. So, lots of hard work, guys. It's just all the passion that we had, we poured it into this motorcycle.
Superb, it definitely is very stunning, and I'm really glad about the questions we had, about the small intricacies of the bike. Well, thank you, Abhinav, for your
Thank
session.
you. Thank you so much.
I know for a fact that, you are moderating our next session with Mr. Winston Ye.
Oh yes, you guys wanted to hear the bike.
Okay, no. Even I'm not going to say no. Let's go. We can hear the exhaust for one last time and then...
Should we move it away from the... Okay.
I think it's fine. You don't have to... Keep this mic on.
So one more thing, the bike leans a lot more now because of the 18-inch wheel. It's gone up. We'll figure out a solution for that. I can tell you this, Royal Enfield probably will do a longer, side stand for this motorcycle. Maybe that comes out in the next iteration.
It's really too much deep. Add a thing at the bottom.
Maybe I'll do a different side stand and lose another 200 grams. So this motorcycle, this exhaust, you can also have it with a DB killer. So when you're riding in the street, when you're riding in the city or on the highway, you can run it with a DB killer. If you go out on trails, take the DB killer off if you want. We built this with a specific purpose in mind. So we did not do a DB killer version for this one now. We had a DB killer in the previous one, but if you buy it, it's available for sale, by the way. This exhaust doesn't cost a lot of money, about 17,000 rupees. MNTB Racing, the guy is here who sells it. Lots of hard work. Thank you. So yeah, that's how the bike sounds.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Abhinav. It's been a delight to hear your stories behind this beautiful looking machine.
Thank you.
And off-road maniac for sure. So,